Hi there and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Bailey Pursuit 430. These are a basic walkthrough on how to set up and operate the caravan as if you were coming on or off site. So starting off first, we have your black hitch head here with black lever. Now you have to have that pulled up like so to then be able to wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow bar. Once it's on, that handle will snap down, push up that red button and expose a green ring. You have your breakaway cable just here. Now if you have an eye point, legality states it has to be used, if not wrapped around the tow bar. You do have 13-pin electric on the caravan as well, so if you do have 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. You then have your handbrake here. Now these handbrakes are on gas struts. To release, press in on the button, push it down, and always remember with these to just give it an extra little pull back to make sure that it's completely up, as you'll hear that first initial 1 or 2 clicks, but just pull it all the way back. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back, you have inserts for your legs. Now the caravan itself will come with a leg winder, or you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs, they're simply used for stabilisation. Now we're using our test equipment today here, so I have a mains lead which plugs into your battery locker just here. Plugs in nice and simple, and you have your ignition point for your motor mover behind it. Just there is where your leisure battery would sit. For the terminals, it's a 12 or 13mm spanner to attach them on. Motor mover will be gone over on collection. You then have your gas bottle just here. Now with regards to the placement of yours, you have a capacity for a 6 kilo there, and then you can fit a 3 kilogram there. However, I'd always recommend propane over butane just because it has a better performance over winter. As well, I'm using a black gas hose, which is dated 2025. Gas hoses will run for 5 years, so this will take me up to 2030. This connects onto this regulator just here. You hand tighten that as much as you can, and then just nip it up using the spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight, as there is an O-ring inside which puts excessive pressure on it, causing cracks and breaks. Then all you have to do is turn the knob. Coming round to the other side, we have your water pump here. Now to remove this, you press in on the trigger and pull out like so. You have electrical pins which line up here, and all you have to do is press in, and then you can see it's fully in. You have a plastic cap to go over the top of the Acroll to ensure no nastiness gets in. You then have a strainer which has to sit at the bottom of the barrel to allow the maximum potential water to come through. This here is your flow. You don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy, just so air can come in and out. Then just behind the axle we have the point where your wastewater is going to come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to then feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. And lastly, we have your toilet function. So just here we have your cassette. To remove it, press up on the handle and pull out towards you. Now this handle does also extend out and up, so it can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. Once you're at your emptying point, twist this head to the side, open up that cap, and what you want to do is tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually pressing that vent button. And as you can see, the waste gets removed. This is just blue chemical and water that I've put in just so that the cassette is nice and clean. Then once you're at a point with some water, I'd recommend pushing some into here, filling it up, give it a bit of a shake, and again tilt and vent. Then on your cap you have measurements in both imperial and metric, and that is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into there, back onto the cap, twist the head to the side and push it in so the cassette itself sits behind those white teeth. Then just here we have your flush tank. Now the flush tank has a capacity to hold around 12 litres of water. However, I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10, as you don't want to overfill the capacity. You can also add some pink chemical, which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell a bit nicer. Now you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so underneath your right hand side seat, you have your boiler just here. Main thing to note, you have this yellow drain valve. When that drain valve is in the upright position, that is in drain mode, meaning that any water inside the system will be drained out. November to March, have that up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan, and anytime you come off site, make sure to drain off the caravan. Then underneath your left hand side seat, you have your trips and fuses, all your trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position. I would recommend carrying some extras across the caravan. And then you have this blue box. Now what that is the brain box for your motor mover. If you ever need to do a reset, you have that panel just there which you can remove to then be able to do so. And just here we have your main control panel. So we have your master on and off switch, we have internal lights, and then you just use your respective light switches. You then have awning lights, so press that down, go to the outside and you can see awning light is on there. When you initially turn on using the master switch, it will show the amount of voltage coming into the caravan. When you're plugged into mains, that will show the amount from mains. However, when you just have the battery on, that will show only that amount. You then here have your pump button. Now for that, what you would do is press that in. You'd have your Acroll set up outside using your water pump here. Now for the water pump, all you have to do is press in, and to remove it, you press in on the trigger and pull out. You have a plastic cap to go over the top of the Acroll, and then you have your strainer at the bottom of the barrel. So you press in your pump button, have your drain valve in the correct position, and you'd have plenty of water inside your Acroll. Wait about 2 to 3 minutes just to allow it to draw the water through, and then you'd open up your taps on both hot and cold. You'd let it run for about 30 seconds, and what you're after is a nice steady continuous stream. If there's any coughs and splutters, just double check that the strainer's at the bottom of the barrel and that none of your valves are up. It may be a case, if you haven't used the system in a while, it will be overly pressurized, so it will cough and splutter to start off with. Then above here we have your Truma control panel. So it's currently off right now, so you have the grey screen. You have a back button, and then you have a dial, which is also a button. So press this in. First up, you have the caravan with the thermometer in it. Press that in. This is the internal temperature of the caravan that you desire. So it goes up to a maximum of 30. Let's select that. So I've now got the heating set. I'm currently on gas with fan speed 1. Next to it, I have the water temperature. So it's either off, eco, which will get it to 40 degrees, hot, which will get it to 60, or boost. Now boost will prioritise heating the actual water over heating the caravan. After 30 minutes, it will then drop it down to eco. Next, we have energy source. So we can either use strictly gas, a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatt, mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt, strictly electric with 1 kilowatt, or strictly electric with 2 kilowatt. So you have the choice of either gas mains or a mixture of both. Then we have your fan speed. So fan speed itself, you can either have eco, high, or boost. Eco is nice and steady, high is a lot more vigorous, and boost is prioritising heating the van over heating the actual water itself. However, if I don't have the heating on at all, let's turn this off and go back over to the fan speed. It's either off or vent. Now what vent does, it just pushes across the air that's already in the caravan. So if you were to have your windows open, you could allow some nice fresh air to come in. Then you have a timer, so if you're away from the caravan for a little bit of time, you can select when you'd like the heating and hot water to start and when you'd like it to stop. Then you have the correct time, so it's currently not 18 minutes past midnight. There's a 24-hour clock, so just select the correct time. And lastly, you have some additional settings. Offset, temperature, brightness, 12 or 24-hour clock, language, index and reset. Not going to go through that as we've set this to what we believe is the most user-friendly interface to use, but if you'd like to have a look inside your book pack to see what they represent, please do so. Now naturally that screen will fade to grey, so it doesn't disturb you whilst you sleep. However, press and hold this in, turns itself off. That is the heating and hot water completely off now. Then here we have your toilet function. All you have to do, lift up the lid, press in that button, water comes through, Press the handle away to release the catch and pull it back towards you to be able to shut it up. When the cassette is full, there'll be a red light under there telling you to empty. Then here we have your hob grill and oven. So everything works related to this switch here. All you have to do is press in on the dial, twist it to the side and press in your igniter. Now it may be a case that that will light and then cut out. That's natural, that's just the gas making its way through the system. So this is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see, all burners nice and lit. And it's the same concept on your grill and oven. Now this is on a mix thing, so you switch it to one side for the oven. Can just take a second to light. There you go. And then we'll switch it over and we'll go for the grill instead, which you can see both sides nice and lit. Only other real thing to note, you need to travel with this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all the burners are cold to the touch. And if you're travelling with your gas bottles, make sure that the bottle itself is turned off. Then here we have your fridge operation. So we have a selector here for either mains, 13-pin electric, which is that symbol, or gas. You then have here a little dial. The thicker the bar, the more power coming into the fridge, the quicker it's going to chill. However, when you're on gas, what you have to do is press in on both of this and this at the same time. This is a igniter, and what will happen is that this orange bar on this side will gently begin to float over. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this until you've checked through all your hob, grill and oven. Now, it's not an instant thing. You will hear it click in, and then it will gradually move over. So this is what it looks like when it's moved over. As you can see there, it is now fully moved over. Now, when you press this in, you will gradually hear it tick in. That is nice and natural. And as you can see inside, when the fridge is on, the lights are on. However, if I switch this over to mains now, you can see the bar drops directly down. And even if I were to switch it back to gas, that bar will gently float out, so you'll just need to do it again. Now, it does take 4 hours for this to fully chill, so you can either chill it the night before or chill it whilst towing.